Welcome back, everyone. Laura Jansson, a doula in the Racine area, is back with us now. Along with the Raskowitz family, we have Stephanie, Dave, and in the wings, you can't see her, but their new 7-week-old Alexandria. Congratulations.
Thank you.
She is a cutie. Laura, for people maybe just waking up, just joining us now, recap real briefly here what exactly a doula is.
A doula is a professional birth companion who offers emotional, physical, and informational support to growing families.
And you guys hired Laura
Yes.
as your doula. First off, how did you even hear about doulas? Because a lot of people have not even heard of them.
I knew of doulas myself, just what the profession was and how they're supportive and provide education and things like that along the way during pregnancy. And actually found out through a very close friend of mine that she had hired Laura. And she said, oh, well, I hired a doula and she's been great. And my friend was maybe, I don't even think it was 2 weeks before her due date when she told me about it. And so a few weeks later, I contacted Laura and we started talking and arranged to meet to see how things might work out, which was nice because it provides you with the opportunity to meet with the person who's going to be going along this journey with you without, you know, almost with no strings attached, where you can say, okay, this will work, or maybe it doesn't quite jive.
And it's interesting that you say that, because one of the things I was wondering, I feel like you would need to have some sort of connection. Because you work so closely with these couples, you don't want it to be awkward, and I imagine that there's the possibility, so a connection has to be there.
Oh yeah, yeah, and it was nice meeting with Laura. Laura's very, I don't know, Mormon friendly, so it was easy to have her come and visit our home and talk about, you know, where we were at in the birth process and our pregnancy and what we were looking for and things like that. And so it was pretty easy to go that route. Ironically, when I actually went into labor and she came, it was a different feeling, because all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And so the nervousness is up again and you're going, wait a minute, I like her, I'm good with her, why am I nervous? So you're absolutely correct. There's got to be that comfort level.
Yeah, and Dave, from a husband's perspective, what is it like to have this third person come in?
Well, it was such a thing where it was very comforting to have that extra person there to help you along this journey. And it is indeed a journey, because during the whole process, educationally and through the day of the actual childbirth, it's a long ordeal. And to have that other person there to help guide you and reassure you gives you a lot of comfort, and it made a big difference, I believe, in our situation.
It sounds wonderful. Was there any point, any day where you thought, now, I mean, no disrespect by this, but I'm thinking as a viewer out there, was there any day where you thought, okay, she kind of feels like a third wheel, or maybe you felt like there's so much information here that as a husband you kind of feel pushed out?
Well, in our regard, you know, we come from a pretty high educational background, so we believe knowledge is power. So the more information we have, the better off we felt. And just in general, the comfort level that we had, having her along with this journey was terrific. And she just did a lot of things for us that probably without her, there would have been a lot of cracks in the foundation, so to speak, and I believe she kind of sealed those cracks up for us to allow for a really smooth process.
Yeah. And even having that support helped kind of create a different level of confidence for us, because we're first parents, so most people go into this and they're like, okay, what am I in for?
Yeah.
I've heard all these stories, I've watched all this stuff on TV, oh my gosh, what is this, what's my pregnancy story and what's my delivery story going to be, and who knows? I mean, you really don't know. And so it was a choose your own adventure almost, and it really turned out quite well for us in the sense that there was an increased confidence for the two of us in saying, this is this process, this is that process, these are some things to expect, and you don't always get that through other avenues when you're pregnant.
Sure, so really just a bigger team with Laura on board. And Laura, how exactly did you help this particular couple?
Well, they had their own journey. I'd like to let them tell their own story. It started with our relationship, and I was with them from early in the morning, the day that Steph was in labor, through to the night and into the next morning when she brought beautiful baby Alex into the world. So they did a beautiful job as a team.
Do you remember some specific things where you think, oh my gosh, thank goodness that she was there?
the first thing that stands out in my mind was when I went into the second stage of labor, and that's the really active, pushing babies on its way labor phase. And Dave ended up having to change his location with me, so I needed an extra hand to just kind of support me through it. And so I know for me, having her there and just, you know, being a positive source of I don't know, support and things like that in my ear, giving me words of encouragement, helping me recognize that I have the strength in myself for this, was invaluable, especially at that point where the baby was on its way, and Dave was really excited about that part of it, so it was good having somebody by me to do that.
And to have that individual there to direct you at times, because there are moments where the adrenaline kicks in and you really lose sight of, you know, what's really going on, because it's it's all right there in front of you, but yet, you know, there are other things you need to consider. She was very quick to say, hey, listen, you need to eat, you need to rest. There were times in like 6 o'clock in the afternoon where she was in, you know, stage 1 of her of the labor, and she's like, you need to rest, because we've got a ways to go yet. And she couldn't have been more right, and unfortunately I wasn't really able to get a whole lot of rest, but just to lay down for about an hour, hour and a half made that difference, because when we delivered her at 2 o'clock in the morning, we were all pretty wiped out at that point. Just to have that little extra rest made a big difference, and that's what she provides. She provides guidance and a little bit direction where perhaps you wouldn't have that on your own.
Wonderful. So doulas are for dads too.
Yeah, and doulas are for dads too. I like that.
When the dads get hung up with that adrenaline, sometimes the moms are, you know, in the process of delivering, and it's really great for her to say, hey, you know, go hold her hand, or, you know, tell her she's doing a good job, because you get so preoccupied with what's next, what's happening, that it was really helpful with that too.
Wonderful. Well, congrats again on your new little one. I really appreciate you guys coming in, because I'm sure you are more than busy enough with her.
Oh, yeah.
And don't go far. Laura isn't the only doula in town. We're going to meet another and hear about their new group in Racine.